Are you ready for this interview?
Yeah.
Okay.
I look tired. My beard is everywhere. I am perfectly fine.
This is how entrepreneurs look. It's 11:41, almost midnight. Typical entrepreneurs were up late working on things. And I just decided to do an impromptu video. If you remember, a couple weeks ago, I interviewed this guy. He was in the middle of working on his new game from Cryoglyphics, and finally he released it. How long ago? Like a week ago now?
Yeah, a little less
So a
than
week ago, he finished it, he released it. It's on the Android store. Not on the Apple store, though. It is on the Android store.
It's about to get there.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk to him about it because it's really exciting. I'm going to turn off this air conditioner, though, because you're probably not going to hear us. Where is the air conditioning thing?
It's around here somewhere.
Keep him entertained.
I will do something ridiculous.
Found it. Score. Okay. Alright, so.
Alright, there we go.
Alright,
we're live.
We're live.
We've been live.
We're back. Okay, so, sir, I'm going to ask you a few questions and I want you to answer them. So you released your first game. What is it called?
It's a Birdpocalypse. In the App Store, it's just called Birdpocalypse. Google Play Store, really realistic, at least for now.
So Birdpocalypse.
Yeah.
What? Okay, explain the game. What is it? What is this?
I wanted to, since it was my first application, I wanted to make something that was going to be kind of like a pilot, if you will. And what better way than to make something that everybody knows? You know, everybody knows Flappy Bird. So I wanted to make something that didn't take itself too seriously at the same time. So I thought Birdpocalypse ought to do it, you know.
It's I've played a little bit of it. I have an iPhone, so I can't play it. I actually played it as he was developing in it. So it's a lot of fun. Well, now that it's out, how does it feel?
It feels amazing. You know,
Yeah.
Honestly, I was extremely critical. There's a couple things that obviously will always, that you're gonna go back and tweak, that you're gonna want to fix. A couple things that you probably won't feel too happy about, but eventually you put it out there, and that's the best feeling you can get overall, is just to get it in people's hands.
Yeah, that's eventually, you know, I think as artists or just entrepreneurs or just people who create things in general, I think we have this tendency to try to like tweak little tiny things that nobody really even notices except you, and then you get so bogged down. It's what I call it, analysis paralysis. You get caught up in that, and so I don't even know where I was going with that. But
you're fine.
I'm sure it tied in somehow with that.
It's
Okay, so obviously programming, I can't even wrap my mind around how difficult that is, but just the whole experience. This is your first game. What was the most memorable challenge you had to overcome?
The most memorable challenge that I had to overcome, actually, believe it or not, for me personally, was trying to go and ask for help from some of the people I was learning from, because you're really critical of yourself, so you feel at the same time others might be critical of your own questions. And so you might have something happen in your program that you're like, oh, nobody else is going to have this problem. And sometimes you look for a little and you find it, you're like, oh, frankly, there's another person that has this problem. It may not be the same thing, but it's kind of close. And if not, you can always, you know, like for me, I kind of learned on the fly, so I was learning from a class at the same time. So I asked the teacher a couple questions, and he kind of threw his hands up and said, I don't know, you know, it's up to you. So at that point, that was the most memorable moment for me, when I'm like, okay, at least I asked. It may have been kind of a ridiculous question, but you never know until you ask.
Oh, the battery thing on my phone. There you go.
So
I have experience in that. It's really hard to ask for, I think, questions. When I was a kid, when I was a teenager, okay, I'm lying, this was like a few years ago, I had this weird like toe fungus, and I was afraid to always bring it up to somebody because I thought I was the only person in the world who had it. Turns out I wasn't, and it was a really quick fix, and so I'm glad I don't know. Again, it's midnight.
So toe fungus.
Toe fungus.
It's midnight and you get toe fungus.
Anyways,
They're not related, but
Not
the
letting
idea.
it. No, the point I was trying to make was
So-
don't be afraid to ask questions.
And don't be afraid of tongue fungus.
Yeah, because there's a cure for it.
That question's been answered, in case you don't know that.
So,
So,
yes. Did you ever feel like giving up? I mean, honestly.
honestly, yeah, I did. There were a couple moments. I was working with Unity. It's my first thing I've ever made. So, granted, you're not going to know everything from the get-go, and you're going to have to hunt and search. There's going to be times when you can't find the answer that you're looking for, and you'll hit a roadblock. You'll hit that wall. And there's always a couple ways to go around it. You can bash your head until you break it. You can tunnel underneath, or you can jump over, depending on how big the wall is, right? So, honestly, you just have to decide right then and there, how am I going to go about this? You know, do I keep going? If I give up, then I can't get this game into people's hands, and I can't get people to throw their phones, which is kind of what, no, I'm just joking. But either way, it would be an experience lost, and at those points, you learn the most.
If
Personally.
you've ever played Flappy Bird, then you probably have lost a couple phones due to breaking it.
Hopefully not.
And this game will probably be the same.
Hopefully not.
It's a challenging game. I don't like, they call them rage games. I don't like rage games personally, but I love playing his game because it's so unique and different. But okay, so challenges we faced, and we talked about that. We've talked about giving up. Now, aside from getting this game into the marketplace and having people play it, what was the constant that just kept you going?
Kept me moving?
Yeah, why?
Honestly, it was... So I talked about those...
Hold on, because this isn't... You're not charged... Like, you don't have any ads on this,
No,
right?
there's no ads. The game, for its lifetime, since it's a pilot, nobody really knows who I or Cracklific is as a company. I really want to put it in people's hands and for people to enjoy it for what it is, a game. First and foremost, there's no ads. Not even going to be payments later on.
Right. So
purchases.
That's one of my questions is you're not making money off of it, obviously. So what was the passion? What was it that drove you? What kept you going and not quitting? Because it's really hard to focus on something. I mean, you know, for most people, to focus on something, especially when there's no monetary goal at the end.
Right.
So what was it what made you be like, you know what, I'm not making any money on this, but I'm still gonna finish it? Like, what was it?
I'm stubborn. No, just no. But yeah, I am a little stubborn. But either way, the point is that if you have a passion for something, there could be, other people will say, hey, I want to do this because there's a carrot at the end. But if you truly want to do something and you want to put it out there, that money's not going to matter. The fact that you're in the moment, that you're trying to program, that you're trying to produce this thing that never once existed before, and it's, at least in its current incarnation, is something I think truly special that you're trying to bring out. So
you know what, those are beautiful words, and that's what I keep telling people. And that's true. When you're driven by passion, money doesn't matter.
Money is not. It doesn't matter. You know,
you're driven by something bigger than money.
Exactly. It's part of the whole. You know, it's not like we begin and we end with Birdpocalypse. That's the thing. You know, it's the thing that gets you to know who we are as a company. And I feel like when people are getting to know who you are, you don't want to be like, hey, I'm this person. By the way, can I have some money? I just met you. By the way, you don't know who I am. You know. Aside from that, no, I'm just joking completely about that portion. There's other games that will be free. Don't worry. Obviously, got to change that up in the future. But point being, for now, because it's a passion, it doesn't matter. The fact that I've put something out there and I can say this is how I put it up on the App Store. This is how I make a game. All that information is invaluable because now I don't have to go and find somebody else that can do this for me. I can just do it for myself. I've spent years and years waiting for other people to do this kind of stuff, and honestly, to have the ability to do it yourself is incredible.
That's pretty awesome. That's got to be a fantastic feeling. How long did it? What do you think from start to finish? How long did it actually take you to finally release the game?
Took me a good couple months.
Yeah.
Those couple of those brick walls I ran into really stumped me there, and I had to figure out like each and every piece. Like you'll hit a brick wall and you go for a couple days, you'll get great progress, and then you hit another wall and you're like, crap, where do I go from here? So.
So you okay? Let's fast forward to you programmed it. You're getting ready to launch. We've already talked about the process of getting to that point. Now let's talk about releasing it. Were you nervous about sharing your creation? Like,
Yeah.
were there any hesitations? Like when you got to that finish line, were you hesitating on crossing it?
Honestly, the game was like finished for a couple days, and I'm just like, I don't know if it's ready. I'm sitting there poking at it like an artist. Like, no, this color has to change. This has to change. And I'm finding all these little details that, frankly, if I did do all of them, would have taken me extra like couple weeks just to go through all the little like nitpicking details. But
and what helped you kind of move forward?
Well, actually, what you said. Because we had chatted about it.
I basically chewed you out.
Yes, yes. So having people that will chew you out for not releasing your game is very helpful.
I do that a lot.
It worked.
I should probably take my own advice.
No, it was good. The idea was that how do you know what people want if they have never played your game? You could sit there and nitpick for weeks, but frankly, every person that's played the game right now has absolutely loved it. And the fact that I didn't wait was great, because now I can get feedback from people and I can make it that much better, the next go around.
There you go.
The next patch.
So what would you recommend to people who are starting? What is the advice? The
advice out there, well, there's a lot of questions for people who are starting there. Like they ask, what language do I want to use? What engine do I want to use? It really depends on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, personally, you want to choose something that is, like for me, I used Unity. And the reason I chose Unity is because you write once and you can run on everything. So you want to choose something that has a very low barrier of entry for you. So that way, when you learn a language, you can put it on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store without much extra work to you as the person.
Mm-hmm.
And not just that, but for me and for everybody else out there, don't feel like you're an idiot for asking questions, because those will get you the best leeway, the best answer. Because you obviously, if you don't ask, you'll never get your answer, especially if you can't find it. And you could spend weeks searching for something, but if you don't ask, you would have spent weeks searching and not finding out, when you could have just asked and saved yourself that couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Even if the teacher says, I don't know, like you did with me, I still hunted down. I basically sat down, I hunkered down, I got a monster, terrible for you, by the way, and I stayed up the entire night, and I just tried whatever I could, and I found the answer, and because of that, I'll never forget it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you just never know until you ask.
So A, you ask, or B, you sit there until you figure it out. Not likely, but for those of you, obviously there's a lot to learn from that,
That's true.
So.
That's true. That's really true.
Yeah, so a couple ways to do it. Obviously ask. It's the best way. And don't just ask one person. I asked a single person. That doesn't mean that somebody else out there couldn't have the answer or couldn't tell you, hey, you're doing it this way, you should probably be doing it this way. Because when they tell you that, you're never going to forget that either, hopefully. So.
That's some good advice. What is your next project?
Well, the next project, actually, I've toyed around with a couple of ideas. I can't really talk about those too much, but for future use, future reference, I should say, Cryoglyphic Interactive, I want to do more than just make games. I want to do apps and build apps that help people in their day-to-day lives. So whether that's giving you more time to A, play with your family, or B, play Birdpocalypse and try to beat that next person on leaderboards, good luck. There's a guy on there who's like 123.
Talking about you, Jack.
Yeah, talking about you, Jack. You know it.
Insane.
So, he cheated, by the way, completely. Just joking. But yeah, that's can't really reveal too much, but there are a couple projects in the works, and there have been a couple people asking about an iOS release for Birdpocalypse. That should be on its way within the next week and a half, assuming that assuming that I can sit down and actually focus long enough.
Well, hopefully it'll be
So-
soon, because I really want it on my phone, and I only have an iPhone. So, let's see here. Well, when people play the game, let's ask this final question. When people play the game, what do you want them to feel? What do you want them? I don't know. I guess like feel.
Just
Yeah, like what do you want them?
absolute hatred. Just, I want you to be completely frustrated, and I want you to be honest about it in your reviews.
There's a reason we don't let him make our Super Smash Brothers maps anymore.
No, it's like I want to be the guy Gaiden, but on a phone. So, for those of you who've played that and know what I'm talking about, golf clap. So,
He made us right before he went on deployment a couple years ago. He made us a Smash Brothers map on our Brawl, and every time we hit random to choose the maps that we were gonna fight on, and it landed on his, there was a unison of Jesus Christ, Kevin!
yep, still working it from across the pond. So
He likes making frustrating things.
it's okay. There's with those kind of games, especially when you finally get to a point where you're like you couldn't get past it and you break through. There's like that moment of I did it. Right before, of course. Yeah. So.
Well, that's fantastic. So Birdpocalypse, I'm going to put a link in it in the YouTube description below. Please download it, try it out, leave a honest review. Tell them what you think, because
I won't know unless you tell me.
Yeah, unless you tell them.
I won't know if you're frustrated unless you tell me.
Or if there's anything wrong with the app.
Or if you enjoy it and you want me to do more, then also tell me that, because that's also pretty cool too.
There you go. So download it. If you have an Android, I will let you all know, probably on either my Twitter feed or my Instagram when it's released for iOS. But for now, I'm going to put the link below for the Android Play Store. Don't forget to leave him a comment. Also leave a comment on this video. Thumbs it up, thumbs it down, don't care. Let us know what your highest score is on the YouTube comments below when you get there.
And let us know if you have toe fungus, because we have your answer apparently.
Yes. Oh, actually, one more question. Let's say if somebody wants to get a hold of you.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So if somebody wants to get a hold of me, I'm on Facebook. First name Kevin, last name Ulaner. That's Ulaner. There's no Craigslist page just yet, but that'll be coming up pretty soon. It's kind of a long one. That's CRYOGLYPHIC. So if you want to write that down, go ahead, or you can just listen to this.
Can you search Cryoglyphic and find your game?
Currently, you can search Cryoglyphic on the App Store and it should pull up the game. If you try to type it in online, you'll see a nice little "We're working on it" webpage.
Okay.
So.
Or would it be easier just to put Birdpocalypse?
It'd be the best to put Birdpocalypse on there.
So look for his game online on Birdpocalypse. And we are almost pushing 20 minutes, so I'm going to end this video. Today I had Kevin Ulaner. Hopefully everybody has a fantastic evening wherever you are, and have a good night.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Bye.
All right, take it easy. See you guys.